Yes, thank you, Paul. Good morning to everybody once again. 2 a.m. in London, coming around to 9 p.m. in the evening in Philadelphia, but the temperatures, taking into account the humidity, not too far short of 40 degrees Celsius once again, as the intense heat continues to sit across the eastern seaboard of the United States of America. And once again, Chelsea will have that issue to deal with, but they'll also have to face an extremely motivated Esperance team here tonight, backed by a large number of supporters. This is one of the biggest games in the history of the Tunisian club, and they are serial winners in their own country. They have to win this game. A draw is good enough for Chelsea, and whoever goes through now know they'll be facing Benfica in Charlotte, 9 o'clock on Saturday in the round of 16. And there is also the prospect of a Brazilian game in the quarter-finals, with Palmeiras or Botafogo awaiting the winners in the quarter-finals for whoever's confident enough to plot their course all the way through. But Perry Groves, looking at the Chelsea formation, which we'll give again in a second, it is very, very clear that Enzo Maresca is trying to play the long game here and trying to keep as many players fit.
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, he's given a rest to the likes of Neto and Cole Palmer. And also, we mentioned before, Nige, that there's 7 Chelsea players that are on yellow cards. So he's probably thought discretion is a better part of valour, because you pick up 2 yellow cards in the group stages, then you're suspended for the last 16. So there's a bit of that that's come into play as well. And it's a very attacking Chelsea side, because they'll expect to have a lot of the ball. You know, this Esperance side, we think they're going to go 4-2-3-1, but that'll probably then just get into a 4-5-1, and you'll see Jabri just maybe playing up front on his own, and whether Chelsea can break him down. But as you said before, this Esperance team are the most successful team in Tunisia, and they've only lost 1 game since the beginning of April, which was obviously in this tournament.
And they're on the 4th coach of the season as well, so clearly if they do lose a game, they choose to make a change very, very quickly. A reminder of the Chelsea team again for you. 8 changes from that 3-1 loss against Flamengo last week. Jorgensen in goal, Gusto, Adarabioyo, Badiashile and Achimpong the back 4. Lavia and Fernandez holding in midfield, and Kunku, Dewsbury Hall and Madueke behind Delap in attack. The second start for Liam Delap. So players like Marco Correa, Reece James, Cole Palmer and Pedro Neto start this game on the bench. Esperance, Ben Said in goal, Ben Ali, Meriat, Tugai and Ben Hamid at the back 4. Ogbelu and Guencini in midfield, with Mokwana, Yansas and Kanate behind Jabri in attack. Their match winner in the previous game against LAFC, Youssef Balali, is suspended, and the Brazilian striker Rodrigo Rodriguez also drops to the bench, with Jan Sasa and Ashraf Jabri coming into their team. Chelsea wearing their chain strip of all white this evening, and as we say, Esperance in their Melchester Rovers red and yellow stripes. They must win this game to make progress and carry the African challenge into the round of 16. A draw is good enough for Chelsea. And inside a stadium in Philadelphia which has banks and banks of empty seats, but the lower bowl around this stadium is well filled, mainly with Esperance supporters, as Chelsea get the game underway. Our continuing coverage of the FIFA Club World Cup on TalkSport. Chelsea needing a draw to make it through to the round of 16, and they are attacking the goal away to our left in the first half. And quickly it's played forward by the teenager Achimpong. It's a big night for him. Started only 2 games in the Premier League last season, but deputising for Reece James tonight. Now Tosin Adarabioyo, and here is Badiashile on this near side, and we can expect Esperance to sit in, try and stay in the game for as long as possible, and they'll look for anything they can get on the counter-attack as Achimpong comes forward now, and the Argentinian referee, Yael Falcon Perez, maybe thought about giving Chelsea a free kick, but it's a throw-in for them on the far side there, right. Perry Gross.
Yeah, just looking at Chelsea, Nigel, we thought they'd go in the 4-2-3 once they are, but the surprise is Madueke's playing on the left of the three, Dewsbury Hall over on the right-hand side with Nkunku in the 10. And straight away with Chelsea in possession, obviously Gusto is starting at right back in inverted commas, but he's just got a free roll basically in that midfield area, make an overload that, and he can enable Fernandes to get a little bit further forward. So there's going to be a lot of possession for Chelsea, which has already started off even in its first 2 minutes, with Esperance just dropping back into their 4-5-1 sort of formation. So Chelsea will have to make sure that they move the ball around very, very quickly and get it into the wide areas to try and create a few 1v1s.
Jan Sass, the Brazilian, is the furthest player forward for Esperance as a Chelsea player goes down on this near side. And it was Madueke. I think he was caught by Mokwana, but now Madueke back on his feet, looks to drive and across, which is deflected behind by Ben Ali, and it will be the first corner for Chelsea with 2 minutes played on TalkSport, 0-0 in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's a great little switch of play from Dewsbury Hall over on the right hand side, just switching it a full 50-60 yards across the pitch to Madueke. Tries to get his cross in nice and early, but Ali does well, makes sure he goes and engages Madueke, closing down, corner for Chelsea on the left hand side.
And it's in front of a huge bank of Esperance supporters. As we were saying earlier, they had a big party in Philadelphia last night. They're determined to enjoy themselves, whatever the result. And they made plenty of noise long into the evening. And they'll do the same inside Lincoln Financial Field tonight. The other game in the group, Flamengo against LAFC, also underway at the Camping World Stadium in Orlando, of course. We know Flamengo have won the group, LAFC will finish bottom. The Chelsea corner flicked on at the near post by Badiashile and just wide, and it just needed somebody gambling on that far post and Chelsea would have had the lead.
Yep, Liam Delap is one who needs to gamble on the far post. He starts off on the goal kick with Ben Said, then just drifts off of him onto the edge of 6-yard box. Great corner from Dewsbury Hall, outswing with his left foot. First contact was Badiashile, and then Liam Delap's got to make sure that when he comes out to the 6-yard box, then his next movement is to go back in. If he does, he gets a tap in at the far post.
Now Delap turning midway inside the Esperance half, nearly 4 minutes played, 0-0, and the game has been played almost exclusively inside the Esperance half. But now Chelsea have given the ball away, and Jan Sass plays it down the centre, and here's a real opportunity for Mokwana, but he was just crowded out at the last moment. But Mokwana has it back here, plays the cross into the penalty area. That will deflect away. Delap will try and bring it clear. He's challenged by Meria, and all of a sudden a football match has broken out.
Oh, Mokwana's got to get his shot away a lot earlier. That was just really sloppy play from Lavia over on Chelsea's right hand side. Just tried to flick the ball inside, gave it straight to Jan Sass. Brilliant vision from Jan Sass in that 10 position. Just made sure that he rolled it into the path of Mokwana. And as he gets onto the edge of the 18-yard box, he's got to get his shot off. He takes 3 touches. That enables Chelsea to go and close him down. See, when Esperance are playing, they have to take advantage of these big moments, because they're going to get, sort of sporadic moments where they get a chance to punish Chelsea, and that is one massive one that they've missed.
And it was the South African international, Alliance Mokwana. But now, Esperance are coming forward again. Jabri plays the ball low into the penalty area. Mokwana was there again. A heavy first touch from him. But Esperance will regather on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Jan Sass again. Works a 1-2. All left foot, the Brazilian. Now wide to the far side. And Ben Hamida. And the early ball to pick out Jan Sass at the near post. He then lunges in. And he fouls Adebayo. And it will be a free kick for Chelsea. But early signs there from Esperance in a game they have to win.
Yeah, they've been really positive when in position. Esperance, that time it was Jan Sass trying to get in that sort of inside left position. In the end, Lavia did really well, just made sure he used his body and run the ball out of play. Just looking at Chelsea, Achiponga's then switched over to the right-hand side, playing at right back. Gusto's come over to the left-hand side, supposedly playing at left back, but we said before he's going into that midfield area, so Chelsea basically just going to be playing with 3 at the back.
Enzo Fernandez looking to work it wide to Madueke on this near side, but he's quickly challenged by Konate, and it will be a Chelsea throw-in. And Mahir Kanzari, the coach of Esperance, in his 3rd spell at the club, took over in March and guided them to the League and Cup double. He was the 4th different manager Esperance have had this season. Their board seemed to have a very short attention span when it comes to patience, as the low cross into the penalty area from Madueke on this near side is deflected behind by Ben Ali, and it will be another Chelsea corner.
They're not owned by the Pozzos, are they, Esperance? They're not in the Watford group, because it's
similar colours.
It's very Watford, isn't it, the way they get rid of their managers, but it's worked for them because they won their League and Cup double this season.
And Esperance, one of the real powerhouses in North African football. They dominate Tunisia year after year. They've also won the African Champions League on 4 occasions. Dewsbury Hall with a corner for Chelsea, but it's headed away. And then it's given away by Gusto. And almost a run on goal for Jan Sass down the right-hand side, but Gusto is able to recover. And it bobbles out of play, but Chelsea showing at times the odd moment of uncertainty.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of complacency in this first 5-6 minutes from Chelsea's point of view, because again it was Gusto just very sloppy in possession. It looked like Jan Sass might just nip away from him on this right hand side, and to be fair to Gusto, he made sure he got his sliding tackle in for took the ball for a throw in for Esperance just inside Chelsea's half.
So 0-0 with 8 minutes played, and Chelsea have a free kick on this near side. Lavia, the player who was caught by Makwana. And it's a free kick for Chelsea, midway inside their own half, and Gusto looking to get on with things. They group at the start of play. Flamengo have won it with 6 points. They're through to meet Bayern Munich in Miami on Sunday. Chelsea, as we say, need a draw to play Benfica in Charlotte on Saturday. Esperance must win this game, and LAFC are already out of the competition, and they're concluding their programme in Orlando tonight against the Brazilian side. And in many ways, the Brazilian clubs have been one of the best things about this Club World Cup so far. The number of fans they brought, and also the performances they've delivered, apart from Boca Juniors.
Yep. We certainly had the Botafogo result, didn't we, against PSG, but you need those, big results. And I think from the South American and Central American sides, after 2 games, 5 of those sides were top of the group stage leagues out of the 8. So it just shows you, obviously they're used to playing in this sort of heat, and also their season started in March as well, so they're at peak fitness, where obviously a lot of the other players from Europe are just coming off of the last season. Their fitness has probably dropped just that little bit.
Gusto, the back pass to Jorgensen, which was a bit of a teaser, but he's able to guide the ball away. Now Enzo Fernandez infield towards Nkunku, playing just behind Delap. Delap had made the run to the left there, but Nkunku holds it, and now Delap has to retreat, and he's found Malo Gusto, but the ball inside is cut out by Merida, and then Jan Sass gets a free kick for Esperance, just caught midway inside his own half by Badir Shield, and it will be a free kick for the Tunisian champions.
Yeah, he's looked really lively, Jan Sass. Just when the ball's come into him, he's held it up really well. Obviously made the chance for Makwana, where he took too many touches. And just looking there, Nkunku gets in the 10 position, and he's fed in by Fernandez. His first look should be into Liam Delap. Liam, you said there, Liam Delap made a good little run in that left-hand channel, but his first thought was to take a touch, then come back, so there's all these little relationships that Chelsea have to get going, and you think that Liam Delap, once he's settled in, he'll be quite vocal in telling, obviously, his Chelsea teammates that he wants the ball played into him.
Well, it'll be Cole Palmer doing that, and of course they grew up together on the training ground at Manchester City.
Well, Cole Palmer will love playing with Liam Delap because he knows that he will come short to go long, and Cole Palmer's obviously got the vision and the passing range.
Oh, it's been given away by Lavia, and here is Konate coming forward now for Esperance. Jan Sass now on the left corner of the penalty area, dinks in the cross, cleared away though by Badia Shield, but it's won back by Esperance again, and now played wide by Ben Hamida towards their left again, and Konate. Jan Sass tries to play the ball around the corner, but in the end it took a deflection of Achimpong, and it will be a throw-in for Esperance midway inside the Chelsea half on the Tunisian left. And Jan Sass wears number 10, and he really does play like a Brazilian, all flicks and tricks, but he's been quite effective so far.
Yeah, very much so. I'd say he's got very good technique. But just look, Chelsea, we said, about having a lot of possession, but they've been so sloppy in their possession in this first 12 minutes, giving the ball away. That doesn't enable them to get any rhythm. That just gives Esperance that little bit more confidence, that they're giving them a bit of a chance. And one of the worst culprits so far has been Lavia, because I think he's had the ball 5 times and given it away 3.
12 minutes played. The FIFA Club World Cup on Talk Sport in the early hours of Wednesday morning. Don't forget Talk Sport breakfast coming up at 6 o'clock, and you can have your say on this game with Paul Ross at its conclusion, which, weather delays permitting, should be around 4 a.m. Doesn't look to be any rain around, but it's certainly very, very warm for both sets of players. And Chelsea were training at Subaru Park, which is the home of Philadelphia Union, the local Major League Soccer team, and they have those huge industrial blowers, jets of cooling water over the players during training. And Enzo Maresca was saying that it was impossible to put on a proper session due to the intensity of the heat yesterday.
Yeah, but even before the game, all you do before the game is you go through a little bit of functional play, a little bit of shadow play, get your team shape sorted out, go through your set pieces. So you're not going to do a real intense training session anyway. And they probably would have been training sort of 8:30, 9 in the morning, and then they'll get enough rest.
By the way, Kay looking to chase forward here, but in the end it was further forward for Gusto down the left-hand side, but Guencini comes across to knock it out of play, and it will be a Chelsea throw-in. With 13 minutes played, 0-0. And Esperance have done well so far. Of course, they lost their opening game, but then beat LAFC. As Delap looks to turn on the edge of the penalty area, fires in the shot, right-footed from fairly central, and Bashir Ben Said makes a comfortable save.
Better play from Nkunku in that 10 position, just rolling it into Liam Delap, coming off his marker, getting it onto his right foot, just on the edge of the D, and what he's trying to do as he's going laterally across the D, he's trying to just put it back across Ben Said, and unfortunately can't get his foot around it.
And here's an opportunity for Jan Sass. It was a poor header away from Adebayo on the edge of the penalty area, dropped to Jan Sass, who hit it first time on the volley, high over the top, and he apologises to his teammates because he had time there.
It's just shocking defensive play from Tosin, because as the ball drops out of the air, he's under no pressure whatsoever. Jorgensen's just got to give him a shout, just to let it go off the top of his head, so he just flicks it back to him, and he actually hits it on his shoulder. It's not even from his head now, it comes off his shoulder, just drops to Jan Sass, and as it just sits up, worst ways out of play of his quality, from 25 yards out, you expect him to hit the target as the ball sits up the volley, can't quite get the grip on it.
Enzo Fernandez looking to make the break from midfield now and chase a long ball forward, but Bashir Ben Said is able to gather, and he saved a penalty in the 11th minute of added time against LAFC, which knocked out the Americans and also gave Esperance their first victory in a World Club Championship. Since 2019, when they beat Al Sadd of Qatar in one of the lower ranking playoffs 6-2. Of course, they've been involved in the competition which English clubs have played in around Christmas time for a number of years, as Madueke has been bowled over by Ben Ali on this near side, and it will be a free kick. No card from the Argentinian referee.
Nice, that was more like Franny Ben Ali rather than Ben Ali, because that was a proper reducer when it came out to Madueke on this left-hand side. Just gets it on his left foot, just toe pokes it away. Ben Ali just comes in, mistimes it completely because he's tackling with his wrong foot. He's going with his left foot across his body, just gives the foul away. I think he's very, very lucky that he doesn't get a yellow card from Yael Falcon Perez, the referee, but it's a free kick for Chelsea in a real danger position on their left-hand side.
Well, Madueke is back on his feet, and this referee only showed 3 yellow cards in his previous game when Athletic beat Seattle 3-1. Of course, Atletico Madrid and Porto, 2 of the European teams who are already heading home. 4 European sides, 3 Brazilians and 1 American team have already booked their places in the round of 16. And on Thursday night, 8 o'clock, we'll have Juventus against Manchester City to decide who wins that group. Enzo Fernandez with the free kick, and it's fisted away by Ben Said at the far post. Lavia, though, will trot across and keep it in play. Achimpong down the right. A low ball across, but then it's quickly cut out by Makwana. He plays it up towards Jabri on the halfway line, and the youngster does well to hold it up. And now Guencini all the way back towards Meria. And Esperance are doing well to pick up second balls at the minute. Chelsea have been just slightly loose in possession, and Gusto has given the ball away here, and now Makwana plays it in field. Jansas believed he was fouled by Lavia, but nothing given by the referee, and Dewsbury Hall quickly plays it forward looking for Madueke on this near side, and Esperance will bring it clear. 18 minutes played, 0-0 in Philadelphia on TalkSport. And on TalkSport 2, later on today, 5 o'clock kickoff. It is the semi-final of the UEFA Under-21 Championship, England against the Netherlands. And there's full commentary over on TalkSport 2 as Esperance have been given a free kick here in a decent area following a challenge from Badiashile.
Yeah, Badiashile just getting far too tight on Jabri as the ball came in from Jan Sass. Good hold-up play from the Esperance centre forward. Again, it's just a little example there of Chelsea not being quite at it, not 100% fully focused, sloppy in possession. I think it was Antropong who gave the ball away initially, then able to Esperance break on them. So now you'll be looking at Jan Sass probably with his left foot just trying to feed it in.
It's clipped in by Konate, high to the far post and flicked on towards goal by Tugai. But he was never going to score from there, and it's into the arms of Jorgensen, who is deputising tonight for Robert Sanchez, but he did play on 9 occasions. I keep saying last season, but as far as Chelsea are concerned, it's this season.
Yep. There's 2 different takes on it. Pep Guardiola says this is the start of a new season, maybe because Man City was so pants last season, he just wants to forget about it completely. And Chelsea had a decent season, didn't they? Coming 4th in the Premier League and winning the Europa Conference League, so maybe they will just continue.
Dewsbury Hall with a high, deep ball into the area, brought down by Fernandez on the left. Fernandez will come inside, challenged by Makwana. And now Gusto with the cross in towards the far post. Dewsbury Hall heads it down, and in the shadow of the goal line, it's headed away by Merida, with Liam Delap waiting to pounce.
Really good defending from Merida. Just make sure that he has a what if in his head. What if Dewsbury heads the ball back across goal? And it's fantastic defending because it's beaten Ben Said, comes back across, and then Merida just makes sure he gets the first contact. It's a really good defensive header. Better play from Chelsea down there, left hand side. Just a little drag back from Fernandez, which enabled the cross to be chipped into the far post.
The stadium has filled up since kick-off time, but the top tiers on both sides are completely empty, so I would imagine a crowd of around 30,000 here tonight as Delap is almost picked up by Nkunku down the centre. Now Madueke, wide towards Nkunku again. And here is Fernandez. Nkunku given the room to turn and bear down on the Esperance penalty area. Now Dewsbury Hall on the right, clips the high ball towards the far post, but beyond both Enzo Fernandez and Delap, and it's behind for a goal kick with 21 minutes played, and it's 0-0.
Yeah, Fernandez and Delap both making the same run, come out to Dewsbury Hall on the right hand side, just gets it onto his left foot, just feeds it back into the box. So Liam Delap, obviously being the natural centre forward, he makes sure that he's central between the posts, and Fernandez has just run right behind him where he should be coming a little bit deeper at the far post. So again, just a little bit of a misunderstanding. I don't think Enzo Maresca, the Chelsea manager, will be very pleased with the way that his team was starting this first 22 minutes, because say they've given the ball away cheaply on numerous occasions, and that's enabled Esperance just to, get that little bit more confidence, just grow into the game.
Well, there's an injury here for Bashir Ben Said. Their goalkeeper has had an injury hit season. He is usually the backup goalkeeper in the league. There's a 21-year-old, Amandala Memish. He is the first choice goalkeeper in the Tunisian league, and he's warming up at the moment. Ben Said is certainly more experienced, but Memish is certainly the number one goalkeeper for Tunisia as well at the moment. But Ben Said is back on his feet, and we'll have coverage of the knockout rounds of the World Club Championship as it develops on the TalkSport network. If you check in at talksport.com or download the app, you can see which games we are doing, when and where. And we're also building up to our coverage of the Women's Euro 2025. The matches involving the host nations begin on Saturday the 5th of July, 5 o'clock on TalkSport 2, Wales against the Netherlands, and then it's France against England on TalkSport. England play the Netherlands on the 9th of July, with Wales meeting France on TalkSport 2. England play first at 5, Wales at 8, and then they play each other on the 13th of July as Esperance get a free kick here midway inside the Chelsea half, and again it's Jan Sass who is involved. He was caught, I think, in the face by Enzo Fernandez on the way down, but it was the initial challenge which maybe pained him more. Yeah,
I think it was Badashil just came in a little bit late as the ball was rolled into Jan Sass, just trying to get the ball out of his feet, and as he was falling down he was just clotheslined by Fernandez as he fell down. And as the players do these days, they roll around like they've been hit on the top of their head with a lift. And I don't know what you know, but at first I was a bit worried about his welfare, but then you think, oh no, I think he might be okay.
I think he'll be alright. He's already on his feet now, hands on hips, addressing this free kick with his yellow and red Esperance shirt stuck to his torso due to the sweat. And Jan Sass will clip this one high towards the far post, and it's quickly laid back towards Merida. The low ball in though was cleared away by Tosin, and then the flag's up for offside, and Chelsea will get a free kick with 25 minutes played. But as you say, I don't think Enzo Maresca will be too happy with the way things are going. He was talking in the press conference yesterday about the need to avoid bad surprises, but Chelsea at the moment are playing in a manner which will possibly lead to them.
Well, they're treating it at the moment as it's a end of season friendly. That's how they're treating it, as if to think, well, this team can't hurt us, all we need is a draw and we're going to go through. That was just really lazy play from Esperance, from Merida, being caught offside when he's looking right across the line.
Now Enzo Fernandez looking to find Delap. It's cleared away as far as Madueke inside the penalty area on the left. Double coverage from him Makwana, though, comes into win it back from Delap, but Chelsea have it again. And Lavia tries to squeeze it into the area, but Esperance defend in numbers, and it's played down the line on this near side by Makwana, straight out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Chelsea. And in terms of shots on goal so far, it is 2 apiece. Chelsea have had the only one on target, but it was a bit of a trundler from Delap.
Yep, just from the edge of the D, just went straight down Ben Said's throat. Easy save, bit of a P-roller.
And Chelsea with nearly 70% of the possession so far, as Lavia comes forward now onto the right foot. Shot, though, is blocked at the near post by Konate, and it rebounds all the way up to the halfway line, where Jabri will just hold it up for Esperance, wait for support, and in the end he's won a throw-in.
Yeah, it was really good defending from Konate, and then Obele just makes sure that he's getting across, putting his body on the line, gets the block in, and ricochets fully 40 yards back up the pitch, which enables Esperance to recycle the ball.
Merida plays it down the line, and then Ben Ali for Esperance, wide towards Makwana, and he just squeezes the ball out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Chelsea, their first ever competitive meeting with an African team, and the same goes for Esperance when it comes to Europe. They played in 3 previous Club World Cups, but they've never made any progress towards the semi-finals, as Delap has been fouled on this near side, just outside the penalty area. And there is some very expressive protest from Merida, the captain, but there's no doubt he caught Delap, and it will be a free kick.
Actually wanted from Merida, he just put both his hands in Delap's back. That always annoys me from a defensive point of view, because where's Delap going? He's facing the byline, he's going though. It was a good first touch as the ball dropped over his shoulder. Merida comes and closes him down, and the thing that Delap wants you to do is push him in the back, so that you can get a cheap free kick, which puts obviously Esperance under pressure. Merida goes to the referee and says, what are you giving the foul for? And the referee's like, well, one hand in the back's alright, mate. The second hand, you push him over, that's a free kick.
Dewsbury Hall, Fernandez and Tosin are all discussing this free kick. Tosin making it absolutely clear what sort of delivery he wants.
Well, I'm not, an expert at sign language, but I think it was Dewsbury Hall saying, you get to the far post and I'm just going to bring it up to you.
Well, with all those Esperance fans behind that goal, Chelsea have this free kick that is by far the most heavily populated area of the stadium. 29 minutes played, 0-0 on TalkSport. Chelsea with a set-piece opportunity here. Flighted in by Dewsbury Hall, and after all that, it is straight into the arms of Ben Said, who gathers at the second attempt.
That is such a bad free kick from Dewsbury Hall, because he's right by the byline. All he's got to do is make sure that he just gets it to the far post, where you got 3 Chelsea players all lining up, and he just basically, it was a lazy feeding knife, wasn't it, where he just chipped it, and then it was just like Ben Said pulling apples from the tree. Easy goalkeeper.
Now Tosin has given away a very cheap corner. He had control of the situation on the far side. He was put under pressure by Jabri, that he tried to play it back in field towards Jorgensen, but he put it straight out of play.
Just say, really sloppy play again from Tosin. Jabri just chasing a lost cause. Tosin actually managed to shoulder him off the ball, and all he's got to do, he's got to just play it with the outside of his right foot. He goes with his left foot and he's completely off balance, and then hits the white flag. That little action there just summed up Chelsea completely in this first half an hour. They have been so sloppy, so sort of stagnated in their movement, in their possession.
The corner's played short, now whipped in towards the near post, headed away by Badiashile. But Esperance have it back again. Ben Ali with a great ball into the penalty area, almost foul for Jan Sass at the far post. His first touch, though, just let him down. The flag's up for offside. And that's an escape for Chelsea.
Yes, a big escape of Ben Ali, just feeding the ball back in from that inside right position. Chelsea holding the high line, no pressure on the ball. Came to Jan Sass again. It was just a...
I don't think he was offside.
Exactly, unusual for him. It was just a poor touch as it came to his left foot. So he gets a better touch and he cushions it. He gets a shot away with his left foot. So Esperance have had the two biggest chances in this first 31 minutes. And with a bit of more quality in that final third, they should be 2-0 up.
Well, they're having the cooling break, which is much needed. They're also watering the pitch.
Why don't you just go and stand under the sprinklers?
Yes.
Get your body temperature down.
Well, both sets of players have headed towards the technical areas. Now there are huge jets of water that have sprung up from the centre of the pitch. Of course, the quality of the playing surfaces has been a topic of conversation, certainly among the European coaches and players, and their views have often not been too kind. But the more expressive coach at the moment is Enzo Maresca, and Mahir Kanzari is often a coach who wears his heart on his sleeve, but Maresca does not look happy down there, Perry.
Well, Maresca is a control freak, you know, in the way he wants his teams to play, because even winning the championship with Leicester fans were sort of moaning a bit when the game and their game plan was a little bit too predictable, you know, it was like paint by numbers. Chelsea fans halfway through the season started to get a little bit frustrated because they had that little period where, you know, at first everybody was saying they could be in the race for the Premier League, which they never were because their squad was just far too young. And his team hasn't had complete control over this game, which they should. If they're playing anyone in near their levels, they should be running the legs off Esperance. And say Esperance have had the two biggest chances. I will be amazed at half time if Enzo Maresca doesn't make any changes, especially in midfield, because Lavia is playing basically with his flip-flops and his shorts on, with his surfboard underneath his arm, as if he's on the beach, because he's been particularly poor in this first half, and he's probably been the poorest of a poor performance from Chelsea so far.
Well, Chelsea will restart with the free kick for the offside. 12 minutes to play of normal time in the first half. Here on TalkSport, our coverage of the FIFA World Club Championship, live on TalkSport, presented by DAZN. Watch every game of the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free on DAZN. Sign up at DAZN.com. And again, Chelsea are being given time by Esperance, but their forward players are quite clever. They just drop deep and they give Chelsea time to think about it. Then they spring forward in unison, the front three, and on a couple of occasions they caught Chelsea out.
Yep, because of Chelsea's slack play and the good closing down from Esperance.
But here is the lap now, turning smartly on the edge of the penalty area, onto the right foot, has to check back though. Lavia, wide towards Dewsbury Hall on the right hand side. Now Nkunku, back towards Lavia, but Lavia could give this ball away, but in the end it's won back well by Gusto. Had to recover that because Esperance were ready to counter-attack. Madueke now, in towards Enzo Fernandez, but it's so congested around the penalty area. Now Badiashile. Back to Tosin. And Tosin is Chelsea's deepest player, 15 yards inside the Esperance half.
But they've defended really well so far, Esperance, because they're just making sure that they're defending the width of the 18-yard box.
And now Madueke looking to chase a high diagonal ball forward, headed away by Ben Ali, but Madueke recovers it, and then Badiashile striding forward, but the shot took a deflection, loops high over the crossbar, and it will be a corner.
Yeah, just Badiashile getting the ball from Gusto. Gusto just rolled it into his path, thought he'd just take his chance. As you said there, looked like he'd just smashed it high, wide and handsome, but lucky enough for Badiashile, it took a slight deflection. Corner for Chelsea on the left-hand side.
Chelsea corner, played short to Gusto. And then Achimpong. Oh, good shot from him. It'll come to Delap. And Delap slices it wide. He may well have been offside, but it was Achimpong. He slipped as he hit it, but in doing so he actually generated more power, and it was a good save by Ben Said, and Delap was clearly offside.
That was a brilliant save from Ben Said, low down to his left-hand side. You said that Achimpong coming in from that left-hand side. Chelsea just playing the short corner just to try and differentiate with the angles, and it's come out to Achimpong, and as he slides he gets actually really good contact on it. Really good save from Ben Said, low down to his left. Delap actually knew that he was offside, because he didn't, when he span, he didn't spin as if to say, well, I've got a chance to tap this in here. He knew he was just trying to get himself back onside. So the ball come out to him, he just sliced it completely. But that's because, as I said, I think that Delap knew that he was quite a way offside. That was Chelsea's best chance of the game.
Well, it would have been one for VAR, I think, because Delap was right in front of the goalkeeper when the shot came in anyway. But now Esperance will try and come forward. They have to win this game, of course. Ben Ali, low towards the edge of the penalty area, and a nice turn now from Mokwana. Wide towards Ben Ali on the right. The cross in takes a deflection, and it's gathered well by Jorgensen at the near post to avoid the corner kick. Now Nkunku, and possession in Chelsea's favour by around 68% so far. And here is Madueke, but a good deal of it has been fairly laboured, but Chelsea looking to build here with Gusto on the left-hand side, all the way back towards Badiashile. His first touch just sends the ball spinning up onto his chest, but now it's back with Lavia again. And Chelsea are having to get through a lot of work here to try and create a clear-cut opportunity, and in the end it's Adebayo who brings it forward, wide towards Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall plays it back towards Adebayo again, and here is Madueke on the left. Esperance happy to show him the outside. Madueke though tries to come inside, goes back towards Gusto. Gusto now does deliver the ball in, and it's over the head of Dewsbury Hall, straight out of play, and those Melchester Rovers fans behind that goal celebrate.
Well, that wasn't exactly Roy the Rovers' delivery there from Gusto, was it? From that inside left position, because what Esperance are doing really well, when it goes out to Madueke on the left-hand side and Dewsbury on the right-hand side, they're doubling up. They're making sure they're getting two players out there, so there's no 1v1 situations. And so Chelsea's possession has been very, very laboured. That was a brilliant example of it there, where then it just comes out to this left-hand side, and then it's Badiashile who just tries to ease it into the box and completely overhits it to the far post, goes up for a goal kick, and then Esperance give the ball away. Chelsea recycle.
But Chelsea need a point, and at the moment that's what they have. 39 minutes played, 0-0. As Lavia works it infield to Nkunku.
There's a collector's item. Lavia's actually just passed it to a fellow Chelsea player.
It's not happened on too many occasions so far. Delap coming short. Now wide towards Noni Madueke, who's been really hugging the touchline on this left-hand side. Now Badiashile. Dewsbury Hall made the run down the right, then has to check back because the pass never came. Badiashile finding Adebayo. Now Achimpong finding Dewsbury Hall. And Chelsea here just looking to produce a moment of inspiration, but it doesn't happen there because Ogbelu brings it away. He's been caught by Lavia, and it will be a free kick for Esperance midway inside their own half. And Esperance means hope in French, and they have plenty of hope at the moment.
Yeah, very much so, because it's been a good performance from Esperance. Ogbelu just doing really, really well, keeping possession, just buying the foul. Again, that gives Esperance a chance just to regather, regroup. Just looking at the Chelsea bench, looking at Reece James, obviously the Chelsea captain, Caicedo. There are a couple of players that I think that Maresca might bring on at half time, especially in that midfield area where they need to pass the ball a little bit quicker, have a little bit more urgency. Because I think, I know they had the industrial blowers at the training sessions. I think there'll be the industrial furnaces which will come at half-time from Enzo Maresca.
Or the hairdryer. They've also got the blowers and the ice-cool water, or the mist of water, heading over both benches at the moment, just down in front of us as it's cleared away downfield once again by Ben Said, all the way through to Philip Jorgensen. And now Badia Shield. And we've seen already in this game, Chelsea cannot afford to take Esperance for granted. Chelsea should be beating them comfortably, and maybe with a first choice team on the field they would be, but Esperance have got ideas of their own, and at the moment they're doing everything their coach is asking of them. And now Ogbelu plays it wide to the far side, but it's behind Konate, and it will be a throw-in for Chelsea.
Well, that was more like Tony Bellew rather than Ogbelu there, just getting him possession. All he's got to do is just roll it out to Konate, who's 15 yards away from him. He's actually just passed it behind him, ball goes out of play. So they're getting a bit of the Chelsea disease, keep giving the ball away.
But Abdrahman Konate, only 18 years of age, born in the Ivory Coast, and he's very quickly become a young star with Esperance in Tunisian football as Enzo Fernandez tries to play it forward, but again he's closed down. Chelsea have it back with Adebayo, all the way back to Badia Shield. And Chelsea are so narrow, they've got two wide players on the pitch, but every time they try and go down the centre.
Well, I think what's happening, Gusto's coming in, obviously in that midfield area, so that makes him more congested.
But here is Madueke now, sprinting away from a challenge, but the cross into the near post, cleared away by Merida. And Madueke, the only player for Chelsea so far really prepared to engage somebody and take them on. It was a nutmeg on Ben Ali, and the cross was clear.
Yeah, couldn't stop a pick in the corridor there. Ben Ali is making sure that he's got himself two square on, legs really wide apart. Brilliant play from Madueke, just puts it in between his legs, gets himself to the byline, but again can't pick that right cross out, where the closer you get to the byline, the more you need to be standing up the far post. He tried to whip it across the near post. Good defending from Merida, just cleared the danger.
And that's handball against Nkunku on this near side. He was unlucky, it just skipped up and hit him on the arm, but he was looking to break into the penalty area, so it was always going to be a free kick. And in fact the referee was also involved as well, so it will be a drop ball.
To be fair, it was a great little layoff from the referee, wasn't it? Just come into his left foot, made sure he got his self side on. Little give and go of Nkunku.
Well, I think Chelsea are claiming that they should get the drop ball, but the referee says no.
Well, they should, because they were in possession. The referee got in the way of Chelsea's attack, so it should be a drop ball. But I think what he's saying is he's going to give it to Esperance, and they should give it back to Chelsea.
Well, the referee just telling Liam Delap and Christopher Nkunku to step back, and then it's hammered down the centre. I don't think he was giving the ball back there.
That is ridiculous from the referee, because say he's stopped the Chelsea attack, that'll go down on his stats with all the statisticians on the side as an interception from the referee, regaining possession.
Now Nkunku wide to this near side, and Gusto, and here is Badia Shield, and we're into the closing 10 seconds of the first half here on Talk Sport. We'll be back with Paul Ross during half time, and it's 0-0, and there will be a minimum of 5 more minutes as Chelsea give the ball away again. And now it's played over the top, looking for the run of Jabri. It's gathered by Konate, and here is Jan Sass for Esperance. It's worked back into the midfield area, but then given away, and Chelsea could break here with Madueke on the edge of the penalty area, but Merida with the challenge initially, but Madueke wins it back. Enzo Fernandez can hit it, and it's just over the top. Arguably Chelsea's best moment so far. Madueke with pace on the counter-attack, and Enzo Fernandez not too far away.
Yeah, it all started actually from Enzo Fernandez. A brilliant ball from inside the centre circle, just pinged it out to Madueke in the inside left position. Great first touch, little drag back. Enzo Fernandez just following his pass. Madueke rolls him back in, ball sits up, and you actually expect Fernandez to hit the target knife from there. And what he's done is he's got good contact with it, but just couldn't quite get the dip. Goes about a yard over Ben Said's crossbar.
Now Enzo Fernandez at the other end almost plays Badiashile into trouble, but Chelsea are able to extricate themselves from that. And now there's a break deep into the Esperance half from Achimpong, and he has been fouled by Ben Hamida, and it will be another free kick here for Chelsea in a decent area.
Yeah, good play from Achimpong, just cutting in from the right hand side. Ben Hamida just getting himself across, put his arm across his chest. Achimpong goes down. Free kick for Chelsea, which Enzo Fernandez will just feed in from the inside right position. I'm just looking at Chelsea, been very stagnant, isn't it? The whole performance, in their movement, in their passing, and it always amazes me that Dewsbury Hall and Madueke haven't changed over. Just change over wings, give the fullback something else to think about. You know, Madueke, if he goes over to the right hand side, he can cut in on his left foot. Same thing with Dewsbury Hall, he can come over to this left hand side and he can cut in, but they just stay in exactly the same positions.
Well, Enzo Fernandez is having a look at this free kick, right-footed, 30 yards out. It's clipped high in and headed towards goal and in! And Chelsea have the opening goal, and it's Tosin Adarabioyo. A moment of subtlety from Enzo Fernandez, and Adarabioyo with a free header, which should guide Chelsea into the round of 16 at the Club World Cup. Esperance, who played so well in the first half, switching off at the set piece, and it's Esperance 0, Chelsea 1.
All the good work that Esperance have done in this first half, completely negated. Great little free kick from Fernandez, just feeds the ball into the 18-yard box. Tosin, you sit there completely unmarked, gets himself behind Merida, and then what you've got to ask the question is, can Tosin pick the right header where he's got to head it back across Ben Said? Exactly what he does. Actually gets a little curl on it. It's not a header of any power, it's just the direction that is brilliant from Tosin. I'm not sure if he's just trying to head that back across goal, maybe to Nkunku, but it doesn't really matter from Chelsea's point of view. It nestles in the left-hand corner of Ben Said's net. That is a get-out-of-free jail card for Chelsea's point of view, because they don't deserve to go in 1-0 after half-time, but that little bit of quality from Fernandez and from Tosin puts Chelsea in the lead 1-0 against Esperance.
Now Jan Sass looking to build at the other end, and he's won the ball back from Adarabioyo, and then he goes down inside the penalty area, but the shot was smothered by Jorgensen, and having scored the goal, Adarabioyo nearly gave one away there.
That was just a complete lack of concentration. Again, if Jan Sass was a little bit sharper, he could have punished Chelsea and got them Esperance back on level terms.
Chelsea looking for a second here before half-time with Madueke. Clipped over the top by Enzo Fernandez. Delap turning. Great chance for Delap! And Liam Delap has his first Chelsea goal. And it was a brilliant finish. He took the ball down on the edge of the penalty area, and he stroked it low, right-footed from the edge of the penalty area. And Liam Delap scores the first of what I hope will be many in a Chelsea shirt. And in the blink of an eye, Chelsea have sealed their place in the knockout phase of the Club World Cup. Esperance 0, Chelsea 2, and it's a great moment for Liam Delap.
Yeah, he's got a massive smile on his face, Liam Delap. Madueke does well initially to win the ball back, comes out to Fernandez. Fernandez just feeds it into Liam Delap. It's a brilliant turn inside Ben Ali. Just make sure that he's really aware of where he is in that inside right position. Just gets it on his thigh on his first touch, second touch on his left foot, just cuts inside Merida, and then can he be cool in his finish? And that is the finish of a natural finisher, because he's got it onto his right foot. Ben Said thinks he's going to go down to his right hand side. He doesn't with his instep with his right foot. He just rolls it a la Jimmy Greaves, just passes it into the back of net. Fantastic cool finish for Liam Delap. Chelsea go in 2-0 at half time.
And that is the half time whistle. And Chelsea on their way into the knockout phase. It wasn't an especially impressive first half performance, but 2 goals in 2 minutes right at the end from Tosin Adarabioyo and Liam Delap have suddenly given Chelsea a route out of this group towards the knockout phase. Half time, Esperance 0, Chelsea 2. Thank you, Paul. Enzo Maresca just sprinting behind the goal on his way round the pitch, having left the Chelsea dressing room at half-time. A reminder of their team again, don't look to be any changes. Jorgensen in goal, Achimpong, Adarabioyo, Badiashile and Gusto, Lavia and Fernandez, Dewsbury Hall and Konku, Madueke and Delap. The Esperance team, Ben Said in goal, Ben Ali, Meria, Tugai and Ben Hamida, Makwana, Ogbelu, Gwencini and Konate in midfield, with Jan Sass behind Jabri in attack. And they need 3 goals, Perry, which I don't think will be happening, but they are making a change at half-time. Mohamed Wael Dabali, a central midfielder, will be coming on. Does have experience of playing in European football with Toulouse. He was also born in Toulouse, and he'll be coming on for the second half, and it's Makwana who is going off.
Well, I think that might be an injury for Makwana. Just a like-for-like substitution.
Well, Dabali coming on. 22 years of age, so a big moment for him to play in the Club World Cup. And Esperance in red and yellow stripes get the second half underway, trailing by 2 goals to 0. Tosin Adarabioyo and Liam Delap with his first for Chelsea right at the end of the first half. And it means Chelsea, only needing a draw, are in a very comfortable position now. And Esperance need to go for this, but maybe their coach Mahir Kanzari also knows that if they are overexposed going forward, then Chelsea could pick them off at the back.
Yeah, very much so. I don't think there'll be any change in the tactics from Esperance. I think that will be the manager Mahir Kanzari will just say, keep it nice and tight, as they did for 45 minutes in that first half, where they just lost that little bit of concentration and ended up going 2-0 down. And that would just, as a player, that completely drains you, because you put in all that really good work for 45 minutes. In your head you're thinking, right, just get in at half time, we're going at 0-0, still in this game. Then with a blink of an eye you're 2-0 down, and that can actually just sap your energy.
So Chelsea heading for a game with Benfica in Charlotte, 9 o'clock on Saturday night in the round of 16. And we'll find out tomorrow night, Thursday, where Manchester City will be going. Both themselves and Juventus are already through. Kevin Hatchard and Scott Minto will see which team will win the group. And of course tomorrow night we'll see if England can reach the final of the UEFA Under-21 Championships. They're meeting the Dutch, and there's commentary on that game 5 o'clock this evening on TalkSport 2.
We mentioned about my bugbear of coaches and not, trying to overcomplicate it. What a great example that is in Under-21s. Playing without a centre-forward the first 2 games, playing Jonathan Rowe up front, who's a winger. They then put Jay Stansford in, who's a natural centre-forward, and all of a sudden England's team shape and their balance looks far, far better.
It's all about round pegs and round holes at times. Now Jabri moving forward here for Esperance down the left-hand side. He's been held up by Adarabioyo, needs some support, and he finds it from Konate, and the shot in the end is swept in by Gwencini, but it's high over the top.
Really good play from Jabri, just getting the ball, rolled down the touchline, just rolls it back. In the end, he said that it comes out to Guenici, and then he just gets himself completely underneath it. He should be putting his laces through it, but he's tried to side foot it. Again, gets underneath the ball, gets a little bit frustrated, but a decent counter-attack there from Esperance.
And Maya Kanzari, the Esperance coach, sweating profusely in his black polo shirt.
Nkunku, I like it because there's about 4,000 balloons behind Jurgensen's goal.
Yeah, the Esperance fans have been terrific. They really have got behind their team. Plenty of noise as well, and I'm sure in their heart of hearts they know that this, in all reality, is a losing cause now. But I think one of the best things about the Club World Cup, and we heard Pep Guardiola talking about it at half-time, it's been the fans who've come from different parts of the world, and they all bring something a bit different.
Exactly, and it means huge amounts to this Esperance, not just the team, but Tunisia, obviously, as a country, the fans as a whole, and they'll be really pleased that their team have given a good account of themselves. Obviously, they got their victory against LAFC, which took them into this last group game, with a chance of going through, and they'd actually played really well in that first 45 minutes. They just lost their concentration in the 5 added on.
Now Enzo Fernandez coming forward for Chelsea. Infield to Nkunku on the edge of the penalty area. He goes down, appeals for a penalty, but waved away by João Falcón Perez, the referee. He made it very clear he thought Nkunku dived.
There was no need for Nkunku to go to the ground there, because he's got the ball on the edge of the D. All he's got to do is get the ball out of his feet to get his shot away, and you can actually tell that he was waiting for contact, that he was waiting to go down. And João Falcón Perez, the referee, quite rightly just looked at him and went, what have you chucked yourself on the ground for? It's nowhere near a penalty, there's no contact, get yourself up.
Achimpong plays the ball in field. So Chelsea on the way to becoming the 5th European club to book their place in the round of 16. Of course, Atletico Madrid and Porto have gone home. And Bayern Munich losing earlier on today to Benfica for the first time ever. And that was enough for Benfica to win the group. And they'll meet Chelsea next.
Yeah, but I think Vincent Kompany obviously knew that Bayern Munich were already through. He played like a half and half team, didn't he? Where he rested the main players like Harry Kane and Elise. But they've got a very tricky game in the last 16.
Yep, they'll be facing Flamengo, who are still 0-0 with LAFC at Camping World Stadium in Orlando. Now Nkunku, this game being played at Lincoln Financial Field, the home of the Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. And now Achimpong, who's done well so far for Chelsea at right back, wide towards Dewsbury Hall, and Delap is on the move into the penalty area, back towards Dewsbury Hall, and now Fernandez hits it, took a deflection, and it's over the top.
Yeah, really good build-up play this time from Chelsea. It's a bit more intense in this second half. The passing's a bit crisper, great little feed, ball fed in from Dewsbury Hall on that right-hand side into Liam Delap, and makes a good run in that right-hand channel. Liam Delap holds it up, puts it back to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall, I think, should actually be shooting, getting the ball out of his feet with his left foot, getting his shot away, tries to take the extra pass, and then Fernandez hits it high over the crossbar.
And we're just watching on the monitor Nkunku going down inside the penalty area before. On the monitor we can see the referee's view of that from the ref cam, and every viewing doesn't look great for Christopher Nkunku.
No, because as he took his first touch, he knew the ball got away from him. You could tell that his body angle was actually going to the floor.
Chelsea corner, an outswinger from Enzo Fernandez, headed away at the near post, and then volleyed towards goal by Malo Gusto, but it's high over the top, and it will be a goal kick with 7 minutes played in the second half here on TalkSport. Esperance 0, Chelsea 2.
There's one thing that I've noticed. Obviously, we're playing this Club World Cup in United States, and when the ball actually gets booted over the crossbar, all the fans, when they catch the ball, they think it's like baseball. They think in baseball, if you catch the ball, you kick the ball. So you see all these American fans grabbing hold of the ball thinking, well, that's how I'm going to have a match for you. Until one official just walks past and says, excuse me, can we have our ball back, please?
Well, there have been some famous examples of fans reaching forward to catch baseballs and actually knocking the ball out the hands of fielders in some very significant games. Jorgensen plays it wide to the far side. And now there's an opportunity for Chelsea to try and build. Esperance are trying to remain disciplined. Enzo Fernandez, though, was just picking up pockets of space all over the field, and Esperance are finding it difficult to pick him up, but it's now swept wide to Dewsbury Hall. And we have to say that Esperance have found it easy to deal with him so far, and he's handled the ball there, and it will be a free kick.
Yeah, just trying to control it with his thigh. He's got his heels on the touchline, and said the ball bounced up at his hand. And the referee yelled, Falcon Perez, no option whatsoever but to give the free kick, but then Esperance just tried to feed it down the left-hand touchline, give the ball away. Chelsea get themselves back in possession again.
Enzo Fernandez brings it forward now, and there's a player injured, Jabri, further downfield, so play will be halted here. He just seemed to pull up chasing that initial ball forward, and he looks to be in some pain, the youngster, and then the referee saw that and stopped play.
Yeah, as you said there, I think it's just a knee injury. I don't know if he's just opened up his knee joint. I think the referee might have thought initially that it was a head injury, because as the players want these days, he wasn't holding his knee, he was holding his head.
And once again, Chelsea players taking on fluids on what is still a very, very warm evening. It's coming around to 10:20 at night in Philadelphia, but the temperature well in excess of 30 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, and getting the ice flannels around their necks just to keep the body temperature down.
I remember talking to Paul Mariner once, the great England striker of the past, when they played in Spain in 1982. The first game was in Bilbao at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and at half-time Don Howe had towels in buckets of ice cold water, and he basically got the players in, put the towels around their shoulders. By the end of half-time they were all bone dry.
I think actually Don Howe did that in the was Wimbledon won the FA Cup, was it in 1988?
Yes.
And he did exactly the same thing, where obviously it was FA Cup final day, he's always roasting hot. He did the same thing with the wet towels, made the Wimbledon players didn't actually say anything. Dave Bassett I think actually it might have been Bobby Gould.
Bobby Gould,
exactly. Bobby Gould didn't say anything for the first sort of 5 or 6 minutes, because he needed knew that the players' body temperature had to drop and get the water inside them.
There's been a change made by Esperance. They've taken off Ashraf Jabri, and Rodrigo Rodriguez, the Brazilian-born striker, wearing number 9, has come on. There's also movement on the Chelsea bench as well. They'll be making some changes fairly soon. It's a rather aimless ball forward for Chelsea. It's way beyond Delap, and it's all the way through towards Ben Said.
Yes, it's a like for Rodrigo Rodriguez and Jabri go up front. Actually, it was a surprise that Rodriguez was left out, because he's normally their main man up front. Gives him a bit of a focal point.
Well, he's had an injury-hit season, so maybe he's found it difficult playing 3 games in quick succession. Only scored 5 goals as a result. Jabri, in his absence, scored 14 times this season, which is maybe why he started today. But Chelsea will be bringing on Dario Asugo very soon, as it's played in here towards Nkunku, and he hits it left-footed, and it wraps off the stanchion on the outside of the goal and goes behind for a goal kick.
Just an example there of Chelsea's passing being a lot more crisper, a lot sharper. Just from Fernandes out to the left-hand side to Madueke. Just make sure he takes a touch, then just rolls it into Nkunku, who's inside him. It's a good first touch initially from Nkunku, gets right of his feet, and from there, from 14 yards out, he's got to be hitting the target again. Just gets himself underneath it, just smashes it high over the crossbar.
And Liam Delap is coming off, so he won't be adding to his first Chelsea goal right at the end of the first half. Marc Giroud, the young Spaniard, coming on, scored 6 times in the UEFA Europa League conference before Christmas or before an injury. But the Chelsea fans giving Liam Delap a real ovation as he makes his way off Lincoln Financial Field, because that's a big moment for him here tonight.
Just led the line really well. It's important when you're a big money signing that you put your marker down exactly what he's done, because as a centre forward you want to get yourself off the mark, and it was a brilliant finish from Liam Delap. Great first touch off of his thigh, second touch just turned inside Mariah, just got it onto his right foot, rolled it into, it looked like an empty net because Ben Said, the Esperance goalkeeper, had gone to his right hand side. Just a really cool finish from Liam Delap. So he'll just be sat in the dugout thinking, I've done my job, we're 2-0 up, I can look forward to the last 16.
Yeah, Lavia has also made way for Dario Asugo, the 20-year-old, signed from Sporting just before this tournament, won the title in Portugal, and that was despite the departure of the coach to Manchester United. And Marc Giroud has come on to replace Delap, the youngster signed from Barcelona. And he's another player whose season has been beset by injuries after a really good start in the Conference League.
Yeah, Sugu will just drop into that deeper line midfield position. Just try and be the conductor. Start all of the Chelsea passing moves off.
Well, that was the commentator's curse because he played it straight out of play.
Has he just swapped shirts with Lavia there? That's exactly how Lavia started. And Sugu just carried on exactly the same.
We're listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on TalkSport, presented by DAZN. Sign up now at dazn.com to watch every game live and for free. And at the moment, this game is rather meandering along. Chelsea 2 up, as they were at half-time, and they're not really forcing the issue, and at the same time, Esperance are maybe not quite good enough to get the goal back to really make a game of it.
No, I think it's more damage limitation from Esperance. You know, they don't want to be on the plane home when they've, been beat sort of 5 or 6, because they have acquitted themselves really well in this World Club Cup competition. And they've defended on a whole really well in this game. Just that 2 lapses of concentration. One just poor marking at the free kick, which enabled Tosin to get a free head up back across Ben Said, and then giving Liam Delap that little bit of space in the inside left channel, so able to get Chelsea's second goal.
Now Nkunku going down again on the edge of the penalty area, no free kick given. Nearly broke for Enzo Fernandez, but it's cleared away by Ben Ali, and it will be tidied up by Achimpong all the way back to Jorgensen. And the tempo has been fairly sedate, but you can understand why, can't you?
Yeah, because Chelsea's point of view, you don't want to be picking up any unnecessary injuries. You want to maybe conserve that bit of energy, but you've got players coming on, Giroud being one of them. He's just chasing lost cause down the inside right channel. From his point of view, he'd like to nick himself a goal. Isugu's come on, wants to make his mark in that centre midfield area, because obviously there's a lot of competition.
Well, Chelsea have completed over 400 passes in the game so far. Esperance just over 100, which tells you how the game has gone. Esperance wanted a free kick as a high ball forward was let fall by Rodriguez, but he didn't win it. And now Chelsea get a free kick for a challenge close to the edge of the penalty area on Madueke. He was just being held there by the player who recently came on, Dybala, and Chelsea with a chance to make it 3, but Madueke puts it wide.
Yeah, just a quick free kick from Chelsea. Just a great little ball from Dewsbury Hall into Madueke, just on that left hand side of the penalty area. Does the right thing with his left foot, makes sure that he gets his shot across Ben Said. I think Madueke thinks it's going to nestle in that far corner. Unfortunately, because he's got a good contact on it, it just starts curving away, misses the far post by probably about 4 inches. Big chance for Chelsea. But again, just an example there that just moving the ball that little bit quicker.
And our next action comes from the Club World Cup tomorrow, Thursday, 8 o'clock. Juventus against Manchester City from Camping World Stadium in Orlando. It'll be warm there, and that will also be an afternoon kickoff as well, so both sets of players will have to deal with the hottest part of the day. And before that, TalkSport 2 later on today, 5 o'clock, England against the Netherlands in the semi-finals of the UEFA Under-21 Championships. You can have your say on this game with Paul Ross after 4 o'clock. 03717223344 is the number to call, and we have 25 minutes of play left here, and Chelsea have made 1 or 2 changes, and I would be surprised, Perry, if they don't use their full complement here.
Yeah, very much so. So because they've got to just worry about players' fitness levels coming into the last 16 against Benfica. But also, Enzo Roche's got to think about the players of Chelsea that are on those yellow cards, because you don't want to be putting someone like Neto on or Caicedo on, pick up an unnecessary yellow card, and then they're suspended for the last 16 game.
Achimpong. Now it's worked wide by Asugo towards Dewsbury Hall. Nkunku down the right. And Chelsea will be facing Benfica in Charlotte, and that will be another daytime kickoff, 9 o'clock Saturday night UK time. And Benfica and Bayern played in that stadium today in that time slot, and it was pretty warm, around 36 degrees Celsius at kickoff time, and that's not taking into account the humidity.
Yeah, unfortunately, in this country, when it's as red hot what it is, when we go to a lot of the games, Nigel, you get some of the pitch will be in shade. It looks like none of these pitches, especially in the afternoon games, are in any shade whatsoever.
No. They're fairly open stadiums. Of course, they've got the roof in Atlanta, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but this stadium here, Lincoln Financial Field, is open to the elements as Chelsea make another change here. Tyreek George, the 19-year-old left-sided player, is coming on for Noni Madueke. Well, Madueke's done okay, I think.
Yeah, he was the one who looked more likely in the first half to create something. You know, he had a good little battle with Ben Ali, the Esperance right back. He had a memorable nutmeg on halfway through the first half. Got himself into the 18-yard box on a few occasions, but couldn't quite pick the right pass. But every time it comes to Madueke, you know full well that he is going to try and take the fullback on.
So Tyreek George and Andre Santos, the players who come on. Santos, the 21-year-old Brazilian international, has come back from a loan spell with Strasbourg under Liam Rossini in France. And Tyreek George scored that crucial goal at Fulham late in the season to help Chelsea towards the Champions League. And now this really does feel like the sort of pre-season friendlies you get at this time of year in this sort of place. As George has an opportunity now to attack. The early ball into the penalty area, looking for Nkunku, but Esperance will clear away.
Yeah, just looking at Tyreek George when it came out to him on the left-hand side there. He's 1v1 with Ben Ali. Ben Ali, what's happening now with the Esperance back four? They're just dropping deeper and deeper because they've been under a lot of pressure. So that'll give Tyreek George a chance because Ben Ali's legs will be a little bit heavy. When I was at that game you was talking about, Nigel, at Craven Cottage, and in the first half Chelsea were awful, 1-0 down, and then Enzo Maresca made a change, brought off Reece James, put on Gusto. Gusto actually started playing with gusto and give a bit of energy to Chelsea, and they managed to turn that game around and win it 2-1.
Chelsea with 13 attempts on goal here so far, 4 on target. Esperance looking to attack now. It's wide towards Ben Hamida on this near side, the left, and he delivers the cross in, but it's overhit and behind for, well, I thought it was a goal kick, but obviously took a deflection because a corner kick's been given. Chelsea thought it was a goal kick.
So I think Ben Hamida's got away one there because he should have crossed the ball a lot earlier and he ended up running down a blind alley. I think the referee might have changed his mind because they just end up running straight, and as he crosses the ball, Antipong actually nowhere near him. You can tell from the reaction from Ben Hamida that there isn't a deflection. So the referee changed his mind and gives a goal kick.
And we have 20 minutes to play here on Talk Sport. Esperance 0, Chelsea 2. And you can assess the fallout of this game on Talk Sport Breakfast coming up at 6 o'clock, and also early breakfast with Shaban from 5. As Nkunku has been fouled by Guencini, and it will be a free kick here for Chelsea. And Chelsea now, I think, just trying to stay out of trouble in the final 20 minutes or so. Giroud works it wide to the far side. He'll be keen to put on a show. A player who arrived at Chelsea with a big reputation and backed it up with goals in the Conference League before his injury. Now George. And it's all the way back towards Jorgensen again.
Yeah, at the moment, Nigel, it's like it's damage limitation from both teams, isn't it? Obviously, Esperance will be more than happy with just getting beat 2-0 at this stage. So Chelsea just going through the motions.
But now Chelsea have given the ball away. Asugo was robbed. And here is Konate for Esperance. It's launched wide to the far side. And George will try and shepherd Ben Ali out of play, and that's what he does. And Chelsea have the throw-in, but more changes now for Esperance. It's Guencini who is going off, and Raid Bouchniba is coming on. 21-year-old Tunisian international, 4 goals and 3 assists for him this season. Plays as a right back, and that's where he'll go. He's actually playing inside Ben Ali, so he may go in as a right-sided central defender.
Yeah, I just think again it's fresh legs. Bouchniba will just go on, as I said, there in front of Ben Ali. Normally he'll be playing in that sort of right back position. But just try and give Ben Ali that little bit of protection.
Acheampong wide towards Dewsbury Hall again. Coming in field, tries to thread it through to Nkunku, but it was well seen by Ogbelu. And guided back by Dybala towards the goalkeeper Ben Said. His clearance is flicked on by Ogbelu. And there will be a free kick here for Esperance. Rodriguez went down clutching his head, caught by Adarabioyo. It's a free kick for Esperance inside the centre circle, although looking at the replay, I'm not sure there was necessarily a huge amount of contact.
He did well, actually, Rodriguez, because he just backed into Tosin, just made sure that Tosin couldn't get over the top of him to attack the ball. Tosin ended up just putting his forearm across him.
Now it's been given away by George, and here is Rodriguez into the penalty area now for Esperance, and he gets it back, tries to thread it through to Jan Sass, but in the end it breaks down. Chelsea have white shirts back at it.
Yeah, Rodriguez couldn't quite get the ball out of his feet. Just tried to flick the ball back inside to Jan Sassi. In the end it was really good defending from Badashil. Just made sure he got the interception. They Chelsea to get themselves back in possession, but not in any real hurry to get the ball forward. Santos just picking the ball up off his centre halves, then playing it back, then playing it out to the left hand side to Gusto. It's all very pedestrian at the moment.
Chelsea scoring their goals in added time at the end of the first half. Enzo Fernandez making both. The first, a header from Tosin Adarabioyo. The second from Liam Delap, his first in a Chelsea shirt, as Dewsbury Hall has given the ball away to Meria. But now it's won back, and Dewsbury Hall finds Shiu wide on the right hand side. He delivers the cross, looking for Dewsbury Hall, but it's cleared away by Meria. But Chelsea have it again with George attacking the left hand side of the penalty area, back towards Santos. The curling shot took a deflection, and it goes behind for a corner.
Yeah, just Chelsea just building it up on that left hand side, and it just comes out to Santos on the edge of the D with his right foot, just trying to bend it inside Benside's low left hand post. Just gets a slight deflection, goes out for a corner for Chelsea on their right.
I think the referee might just be waiting for a check here on a handball against Meria. Maybe struck him on the hand on the way through, but it would have been very harsh.
I'll be amazed if that's given, because Meria, his hand's in a natural position. He's actually standing behind another defender, so he can't see the ball initially.
But the penalty kick has been given.
That is absolutely ridiculous. There's no second movement from Meria towards the ball, so that's not more than Meria. Just very unlucky.
Well, Christopher Nkunku will take this up against Bashir Ben Said, who saved a penalty in the previous game against LAFC. Nkunku looking to ease Chelsea further towards the round of 16. On the face of it, it's a harsh penalty. But our South American officials have given it. Or are they still checking? Well, Yael Falcon Perez is still waiting for confirmation here.
Well, Nicholas Gaul Barragan, who is the VAR, if he's checking this, he should be asking the referee Yael Falcon Perez to come and have a look, because obviously Perez has given it in real time, which we didn't see. We thought he'd given a corner, which it come off of Meria. Meria's hand is down by his side. He can't really see the ball. There's no second movement to it. It's not in an unnatural position. If this is given, it's ridiculous. He's going to have a look at it. This will be overturned.
It's going to the screen now. Yael Falcon Perez, the Argentinian referee. And we often hear about defensive handballs and attacking handballs. There was no way. Well, we look at the replay, and he's pulling his arm away from the ball.
Yep. and he's got a player standing in front of him as well, so he can't really see the whole flight of the ball. It's not an unnatural position. He's got Nkunku just sort of standing in front of him. We said there, Mario tries to pull his hand away. I'll be amazed if it's not overturned.
Well, the referee has had a look, and he's given the signal, and now he is walking back.
There is not a punishable handball. This is natural position. The final free throw ball for the goalkeeper.
And he's overturned his decision, which is the right decision.
100%. And one of the new 8 rules that have been brought in this Club World Cup, obviously the officials communicating with the fans in the stadium, makes it absolutely clear. So, well played, Nicholas.
But he's not given a corner now.
How does that work out then?
Well, it was either a penalty or a corner. It's not a drop ball. And Chelsea are fuming, and to be honest, they've got a case.
I think there's been a little bit of brain freeze there from João Falcon Perez, the referee, because as you said there, it's 100% a corner, which we all thought was going to be initial decision anyway. Then we're surprised that it's actually pointed a penalty spot. And when he gave the penalty, we looked at each other and went, really? And then obviously he's given it in real time. So, but that is, I'm not a big fan of VAR whatsoever, which has been quite well documented. But that was 100% the right decision.
Well, if it strikes the defender and goes behind, it's a corner.
Perhaps he's need another VAR check. Perhaps he's going to call him back over again and say, have enough look at that, mate, because I think you should be given a corner.
Well, what that does guarantee is we'll have more added time at the end of this game. 10 minutes to play. Esperance 0, Chelsea 2.
Well, you know what the giveaway as well there, Nigel, for the penalty? Not one Chelsea player appealed for a penalty. It was obviously Santos who took the shot, and normally the player that takes the shot, if they think that it's a penalty and the arm's been raised, they go mad, don't they? And sort of, well, you're not allowed to surround the referee. It's another rule, isn't it? Whereas the captain's the only player's allowed to talk to the referee now. But obviously the referee, João Falcon Perez, didn't have the right angle, and he's guessing. So therefore, don't give the penalty, give the corner, and let VAR have a look at it, and then I should go look at the monitor if it is a penalty.
Well, they're having another cooling break at the moment with 9.5 minutes to play. I'm not sure why they didn't have the cooling break during that VAR check. It took long enough.
Can you do me a favour? Stop using common sense. We don't do common sense in football.
Well, they're having the cooling break now, and Mahir Kanzadi, the coach of Esperance, is very expressive with his captain, Yassine Meria, another player who has played in Europe for Olympiacos. Well, Chelsea scoring both their goals at the end of the first half. Adebayo with the first, nodding home the free kick from Enzo Fernandez, and then Fernandez finding Delap, who turned inside neatly away from Meria.
The thing with Liam Delap, Nigel, is obviously he's his new sign, or he's new signing. He's a young player that's obviously had his first season in the Premier League. It's another step up because Chelsea is a miles bigger club than Ipswich Town, and you can tell by players' body languages that he looks like he believes that he belongs there. He's not phased him at all. He's sort of, you can tell that he's dictating to his midfield players where he wants the ball, when he wants the ball, and he'll give Chelsea another dimension. You mentioned about obviously Cole Palmer, who will hopefully be playing in 10. For a Chelsea fan, you want to play him in 10. He'll be licking his lips that he knows that he's got a focal point up front where he can actually roll it into him, or he can put it in to the spaces for him to run into the channels. So I think, what was the price? 30 million?
Yeah.
In today's market, 30 million is a bargain.
Mamadou Sarr's come on for Malo Gusto for Chelsea, and changes as well for Esperance as we approach the end of this game. And it's Chieb Jabali who has come on to replace Jan Sass. Kanate has also gone off as well for Esperance, and the player who has come on is Houssem Tika, another Tunisian international in a team which is dominated by them. 34 Tunisian titles, 4 African Champions Leagues, and they were beaten in the quarter-finals of that competition this season by Mamelodi Sundowns, the South African club, who are also at the World Club Cup, as free kick's been given for a challenge on this near side, and it will be an opportunity for Esperance to play the free kick high into the penalty area. And as we approach the end of this game, I think their fans certainly deserve a goal, if nothing else.
Yep, they haven't stopped singing, been very vociferous. Just behind Jorgensen's goal at the moment, where Esperance are going to get the chance just to feed the ball into the 18-yard box.
And it's played high by Jabali, but it's overhit and all the way through and behind, which is a disappointment for them.
Yeah, it's just completely overhit, overclubbed. Probably need more of a 9-iron. He's hit a 7-iron, just a little bit too flat. Again, limited chances there for Esperance, where they put Chelsea under pressure. You got to make the most of them, and they've just completely wasted that one.
I think I heard the crowd as 36,000, which is pretty good, but in this stadium is just over 50% capacity. And as Perry was saying right at the start of the commentary, once we head into the knockout rounds, I'm sure we will see more stadiums closer to capacity. Look, there have been some big crowds as well, let's not forget that. 60,000 watching Miami draw with Palmeiras the other night. We've got 5 minutes of normal time to play here on TalkSport. Esperance 0, Chelsea 2. You can have your say with Paul Ross live on the programme following this game, as Asugo has been penalised again for Chelsea, and it will be a free kick which Ogbello will take.
Really, really well there actually, Ogbello. He's done alright since he come on this left-hand side for Esperance. He's trying to get himself down that left-hand side against Asugo. Usugo's had a bit of a panic up, just managed to foul him. That enables Esperance to get themselves back in possession.
Ben Hamida plays it down the line for Dabali, and the cross is clipped into the penalty area, but then cleared away. It was Jabali who crossed in, but Badiashile was there.
Again, it's just that little bit of quality that's lacking from Esperance. So they get in to that final third, and Jabali getting himself to the byline. Got to make sure he didn't get up to the far post. Couldn't get it quite over Tosin. Just an easy clearance header.
But it's a free kick for Chelsea. Asugo was fouled by Taka. And Chelsea unable to add to their 2 goals at the end of the first half. And we always ask people like yourself, Perry, what have we learned from this game? And I would suggest we've learned very little.
No, because obviously it's like a second string Chelsea side. The only thing we've learned really is that Liam Delap, after his substitute appearance against LAFC, then obviously he started against Flamengo, was sort of starved of possession. But if you can give him the right service, he will get you goals. If you give him the right service, and when it gets in the wide areas, which Chelsea weren't doing, you get the crosses into the box early, he would, if he stays injury free, he should be getting Chelsea 20 Premier League goals this season. Because if you can get 12 for Ipswich, you know, when you're feeding up scraps at the bottom end of the Premier League, you're playing for a team like Chelsea, who do create chances, then he should be able to take a high percentage of those.
I saw a booking there for Dabali for holding down Ajimpong, but Chelsea did nothing with the subsequent free kick. In the other game, it's LAFC 1, Flamengo won. Both goals very late in the day. LAFC scoring first and then Flamengo equalising almost straight away. As Esperance get a free kick here as we enter the 89th minute on TalkSport. And it was Ogbulu who was caught. And there'll be another free kick here, because Tika was taken down from behind, and Esperance have a free kick. And their coach has never really gone for it in the second half, has he?
No, because as we said before, I think he knew that if they really went for it, if they opened up, they'd leave themselves more susceptible, obviously, to a counter-attack, and you could end up getting beat 4 or 5. First half was very competitive. Now both sets of players are just looking like they want the final whistle to go. You just run past the referee and go, how long, ref, how long? And what the last thing they want to see is anything over
9 minutes of
added time, because if you said to both teams and both managers, "So we just knock this on the head now," they'd snap your hands off.
Well, we're into the 90th minute now, so we'll find out how much added time we'll have very shortly. Nkunku. And now it's back with Asugo. I think Chelsea will need to play better against Benfica.
Yep, there's 3 or 4 levels Chelsea can need to go up. So they've had their 3 games now where they were particularly poor against Flamengo, especially in the second half. They didn't defend very well, but it'll be a full strength Chelsea team against Benfica.
Sarr plays it back towards Jorgensen. Shrewsbury Hall is just down on the near side. But Chelsea continue, and there will be a minimum of 7 more minutes. Nkunku, and that's a good ball forward, Giroud, but it's blocked by the legs of Ben Said. Shrewsbury Hall, and he passes the ball straight out of play for a goal kick.
It's a great little ball from Nkunku in that inside left position, rolled it into Giroud's path, and he never really looked like he thought and had the belief that he was going to score, because as you get through in that right hand side of the 18-yard box, then as Giroud comes up against Ben Said, the Esperance goalkeeper, then you either make your mind up whether you're going to go through the goalkeeper's legs or you're going to dink it over top of him. And then Giroud just got himself caught in between. You'd say it was a decent save from Ben Said, obviously made himself nice and big, but a striker of the highest quality should be putting those away.
And Esperance win it back now in the centre circle. 03717 223344, the number for you to have your say with Paul Ross following this game. Whether you're a Chelsea fan looking back on this game, or maybe a Manchester City fan looking ahead to the Juve match tomorrow night, which is live on TalkSport at 8 o'clock from Orlando, or even an England fan looking ahead to the under-21 semi-final live on TalkSport 2 tonight at 5 o'clock, as Ogbelu receives a yellow card at the end of this game for a foul on Achimpong. And I think Achimpong's been a plus.
Yep, very much so. In the right back position, he showed a bit of energy, showing a little bit of desire. We've just seen there, we're coming into the 92nd minute. He's picked the ball up in his own half, just break through the centre of the field. Ogbelu just comes over, and just as Achimpong tries to just get it out to the left-hand side, Ogbelu sort of slides in, brings him down.
And you'll be picking your man of the match with Paul at the end of this game.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, I can see why.
Nobody has actually really stood out. You thought, yep, they've had an excellent game.
Good goal from Delap.
That was the one big bit of quality from Chelsea in that first half. Where his hold-up play was okay. He got a bit frustrated a couple of times where he thought Nkunku should have played it into him nice and early.
Well, Chelsea just playing out time on this near side, winning a couple of throw-ins. And Achimpong is someone who has been consistent. I mean, Enzo Fernandez provided the quality for both goals. I mean, beyond that, I mean, Nkunku's not really been able to make a huge impact, neither was Dewsbury Hall.
No. So Dewsbury Hall's going to play like the whole game. He hasn't really created many chances. It's not been through lack of effort, you know, and application. I just don't think that Dewsbury Hall is comfortable playing. It's a bit like Phil Foden, you know, when you play him on the right or the left of a three, they haven't got that pace to go past people. Dewsbury Hall is a player that likes to pick a pass, you know,
He's a schemer, isn't he?
Exactly. He likes to play in like tight spaces in the centre of the pitch.
Well, here's Nkunku now, releasing Giroud down the right-hand side. He's got support in field, back towards Nkunku again. And now Giroud all the way back towards Asugo. Achimpong. And now George! And it's blocked by the legs of Ben Said.
Yeah, good play from the two Chelsea youngsters, Achimpong and Tyreek George is on that left-hand side. Achimpong just playing a little bit further forward, rolling out to Tyreek George on his left, getting onto his left foot, just getting a really good, fierce shot away. Good save from Ben Said, the Esperance goalkeeper. Just saved it with his left foot. It's really difficult for goalkeepers when they're close to their feet. Sometimes they can't get their feet sorted out or they can't get their hand down there quick enough, but really good save from Ben Said.
And we have just over 2 minutes of added time to play here. Esperance 0, Chelsea 2 on TalkSport at the FIFA Club World Cup. And if you download the TalkSport app and also check it at talksport.com, there'll be details of where our coverage of Chelsea's game will be against Benfica on Saturday night, 9 o'clock kickoff in Charlotte, which is where Benfica beat Bayern earlier today. But Esperance looking to have the final word here. And it's back with Chugai. And a good ball wide towards this near side. And there was a crossing opportunity there briefly for Ben Hamida, but in the end it's wide to the far side. And Ogbelu, but Esperance not taking the opportunity to cross it high, and now Nkunku can bring the ball clear for Chelsea. And it's infield towards the edge of the penalty area, and the shot will find its way in. And it's a third goal for Chelsea. And it was hammered with real power there from Tyreek George. Too hot for the goalkeeper to handle. And it gently bobbled over the line. And it's the youngster who has the final word. Tyreek George, the 19-year-old, with another Chelsea goal. They did Esperance by 3-0. And in the end, they've cruised into the round of 16 at the Club World Cup.
Yeah, it's a really good break from Chelsea on the counter-attack. And Nkunku initially just travelling with the ball, plays out to Santos on his left-hand side. Then he rolls it back into Tyreek George on the edge of the D, gets it onto his right foot. And I've just said about how well the goalkeeper Ben Said had played the previous 10 minutes, 2 big saves with his feet. That is shocking goalkeeping, because it's virtually gone straight at Ben Said. As he's gone down to his right-hand side, he's got both hands to it. It's actually just bounced over his hands, gone into the back of the net. There was just a wry smile from Tyreek George to say, I can't believe I've just scored there. And there was a grimace on the face of Ben Said, thinking, I can't believe I haven't just saved that.
And it was the final action. The full-time whistle has gone. And Chelsea make progress into the round of 16 at the FIFA Club World Cup on the night when Liam Delap scored his first goal for the club, sandwiched between a header from Tosin Adarabioyo and a late shot from Tyreek George, which squirmed away from the goalkeeper. Chelsea weren't brilliant, but in the end, really, They didn't have to be. Full time. Esperance 0, Chelsea 3.